So this is Steve, and I'm here with Councilman Tom Smith. Tom, you're the Republican for the 1st District seat at the City Council, and you're up for re-election. You have an opponent this time. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about why you're running again?
Well, I've been serving the 1st District for 12 years, since the year 2000, and I love it. I mean, I've never had more fun in my life. I like serving people. I like taking care of their needs as best I can. And it's been a great learning experience for me. I mean, it's like postgraduate work or something. It's just been wonderful, and I like it, and it fits my personality. And I think I'm a very good match for the people in the 1st District. You know, Steve, I like to say the 1st District, you know, for people who may not know exactly what it is, it's Georgetown, it's Arlington Park, it's Snyder High School, it's that whole northeast area. And a lot of that was, if you will, settled. People moved out there in the 60s and 70s, and now they're all in their 60s and 70s, and they got some gray hair like this. So I match up pretty well with the voters out there, my constituents, and I like that. I like serving them.
Mm-hmm. I skipped over it, but is there any maybe anything you'd like to say about your background? How many years you've been on council?
Well, I've been on council now for 12 years, and I want to go another 4 years. You know, I'm a Fort Wayne native. I grew up on the southeast side of Fort Wayne. I went to Central Catholic High School. I graduated from Indiana University. My wife Ann, I have 2 boys. And you know, I've lived in the same home over in the Georgetown area now for nearly 40 years. I tend to stay put once I plant roots. And I hope to do that in the 1st District as well.
Are there any issues that you think are specific to the 1st District, maybe that aren't experienced to other areas of the city?
Yeah, there are 2 that kind of are at the top of the list, and they kind of tie into each other. And one of them is South Coliseum Boulevard. There's 2 big empty box stores there. There's the Home Depot and the Value City. And they've been empty now for 2 or 3 years. And that section there is pretty stressed. There's a lot of other vacant shops and stores there. And so I asked for the area to be declared an economic development target area, which means that if retail businesses move in there, like somebody wants to fill in the Home Depot store, they can get tax abatements, because normally the city does not grant tax abatements to retail businesses unless they're in one of these distressed or target areas. Now, the other reason, Steve, that the area is going to continue to face stress, and even more stress, is the Maple Crest extension, which is just 2 miles to the east. It's going to be a new 4-lane road, and it will parallel Coliseum, and it will draw traffic off of Coliseum. So those stores that are there are probably going to even have a tougher time, or a tougher time, you know, filling back in. So that's why I wanted this economic development target area. And the other thing then about the Maple Crest extension is that it now connects up with Fort Wayne there at Lake Avenue, and takes you up to State Street. That stretch of Maple Crest between Lake Avenue and State Boulevard that has never been touched by heavy traffic. There's a senior citizen center there, there's Haley School along there, and now suddenly the character is going to change. And so I really have been working on the Maple Crest Road extension idea, its specific design, since about 2005. I've been on top of it from day one, mainly to make sure that it's not a truck route, a through truck route, because that's a neighborhood area there. You don't want semis rolling through there. That's what you've got 469 running around the outside of town for. So we just got to keep an eye on that, and probably in the next month or 2 or 3, I'm not quite sure, Steve, but the city will be coming forth with its plans and ideas how it's going to redesign and handle that whole new stretch there, particularly between Lake and State.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 2 key issues in the 1st District. And we're talking about empty big box stores. There's just another one that closed up, unfortunately. And that was the Scott's store on Maple Crest, there at Maple Crest and Stellhorn. It just closed down a few months ago. And it's important to try to get those filled back in or do something with them, because they tend to be a drag on the economy. They tend to be a drag on how people see the area. Think, well, what's wrong? These are nice neighborhoods around here. Why aren't these stores, you know, doing better? So it's important to try to work on those. So that's one of my top goals in the district, plus some traffic improvements.
Mm-hmm. let's take a step back and look at the city as a whole, because even though you're first district councilman, you still have votes that affect other areas of the city. What do you think the biggest issue facing Fort Wayne is right now?
Well, it's jobs and neighborhoods. The city budget per se, the city's in good shape financially. We've got a reserve fund, we've got more money coming in with the light lease, etc. I think the city has been well run by the past mayors and past councils, and since I've been on the city council. You may disagree with one spending plan or another. I certainly have. I didn't want to buy Renaissance Square. I didn't think it was needed for the police department, which is why it was bought in the first place. But so, we can have our differences on some of those things. But I think that the city's in pretty good shape financially. But jobs, overall, we have lost jobs, we've lost quality jobs. And people ask me, just as you might hear, or this question leans towards, is that, well, what are you going to do about that? Well, I don't have an answer. I mean, if I did, I'd be probably sitting in the mayor's office. I mean, you can think of lots of things. Well, we'll go out and recruit businesses and do this, that, and the other thing. Well, as a politician or elected leader, I support the agencies that we fund to do that. The Economic Development Alliance, the Northeast Regional Partnership, the Chamber of Commerce. Those are the people who are tasked with bringing in new businesses, more jobs, and retaining jobs here. And I want to support them. I don't pretend to know how to do their job. I mean, I have general knowledge of these things, but I think those are the people we have to rely on and count on. Now, the city always will be aggressive in trying to have the best infrastructure and things available and incentives. And that's basic. Those are the basic things we provide. But for that job recruitment and business recruitment, it's really left up to those agencies that we contract with, because that's what they do for a living.